little too like raised because it's like
Oh, yeah, I see.
that's a heavy embroider.
Yeah.
Like
Alright, we
maybe
should be
scale
live
that
now.
back. Maybe scale that back a couple clicks.
Yeah, pull that machine back a little bit. Okay. I shared show notes with you, right?
Yeah, you did yesterday.
Yeah.
Like my phone buzzed. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, hello. I'm kind of not crazy about a lot of the news stories we have this week, but not a lot of interesting stuff happening this week. I feel
I
like most of what's been happening is rumors.
Yeah. Oh, there was something I wanted to talk to you about. I cannot remember what it was for the life of me right now. So I got so wrapped up into the Tony,
Yeah.
the slow buffalo situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, you mean the SBS?
did you know they made a Gen 13 animated series?
No, from the comics?
Yes!
No, I had no idea.
Oh, I'm grabbing it now.
All right. Hi, everyone watching. Hey, Dimebag. How you doing? I feel like my hair is crazy today. Apologies if you can hear some music in the background. Somebody's having a party behind my house, I guess. Not like in my backyard. That would be a much bigger problem. Hey, congrats. Enjoy.
Get a closer look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay $150 for the steel print, even though it
Yeah.
looked really cool. It had this really great iridescent paint on it. But yeah, Gen 13.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I guess it came out about the same time as Wildcats,
Oh,
except
okay.
it was heavier. I was talking with the dude that was selling all these things. Um, I guess it's a far more adult like version of this,
Sure.
like of that because it was a little more adultish
Yeah.
comic to begin with. But yeah, I'm buying bootleg DVDs.
Was this after the Max?
Well, no, it was around the same time.
Around. Okay.
That's when, because I think that's partly the reason why Image kind of fell apart like that. It's because I think they expanded way too fast.
Right. I mean, they were all good ideas, but it was just sort of.
Well, shit, like some of their cartoons, like Wildcats was pretty bad, and I think that was more in the case of the casting of the voice actors.
Okay.
Like there were some obnoxious voices on that show. I should have picked that one if I was there. They
Yeah.
even had Starhawks.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Oh my god, that is legit. Let me see if anything is on there. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because that could be anything.
Oh, God.
I really hope it's not X-rated.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I gave you the wrong one. Sorry about that.
Oh, oops.
Oh, well, you
There's
can keep
two,
that one, though. That's good
two
stuff.
hours of my junk.
Yeah. It's a free tip for you.
There you go. Don't buy anything at Comic-Con. Excuse me, sir. I would like a refund.
Just a
Like,
picture of your balls for 2 hours.
but yeah, so I was talking to that guy, and he's like, "Well, I don't remember this coming out." He's like, "Yeah, it hit about the same time that Wildcats did their last venture into anime," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, it was a little more adult themed, and it never made it to air." I'm like, "Oh, well."
Ah, interesting.
Saw it. I was like, "Well, why didn't they just shove it on Liquid TV with all the weird stuff like the Max?
Yeah.
Pitch it to HBO, like 'cause they did." I didn't
Smart.
realize they did so many of these.
Yeah.
Like I even think Savage Dragon had a cartoon promo at one point.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know, man. You know the thing I hate about this mustache
Hmm.
is if I'm taking a really big bite or something, I always get like it and it pulls it into my mouth.
Yep.
Just because I'm just keep parting it because it's driving me nuts.
Oh,
Um,
Dapper Dan, man, damn it.
no, there was an article that I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, yes, now I remember. So did you see like Slysoft isn't going to attempt to crack?
You know, I saw that article because I was going through my RSS feeds, and one of them I was moving a little bit fast because I kind of wasn't paying attention, and then any DVD popped up, and I go back and I was like, wait, what? And it's
Yeah,
like I go back through my feeds and it's like any DVD and any DVD HD, Slysoft stops cracking DVDs, and I was just like, is it 2003 again? Like, what year am I in?
yeah. Like I didn't even know that was still relevant.
I haven't thought
But
about Slysoft for probably a decade.
well, because we're adults and we can afford our media now.
I actually buy Blu-rays.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, I was thinking that was something that was very interesting. So if because the sheer volume of data that it takes to rip this stuff now, it's like the amount of information they're putting on these discs. It doesn't behoove you to have a copy of it digitally anymore, like
Right.
for your own personal use.
Right.
I was thinking, I was like, well, that makes sense because I mean, a Blu-ray can hold upward to what, 25 gigs of information.
It's 50 now.
Well, yeah, now with the 4K Blu-rays, I can only imagine like what are you gonna get like 6 movies to terabyte?
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
I just don't understand like yeah, that it's cost prohibitive to have everything digitally that way.
Right.
Um but I just thought it was interesting. So then does that mean now that the amount pirating means it's gonna reduce the price of media, or is media gonna swing the other way because now they can't copy it?
I don't know if pirating has ever increased the price as much as I think studios would like you to believe that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's what the market demands, I guess. You know, like when you look at it's the same problem with like mobile games. The market for mobile games demands that you're like a buck or two at
Right.
max. I think when you look at movies, the market demands that like even $15 is sort of like, I'll wait until it's 10 maybe, or Best Buy I'll have it on sale for $10, in a couple
Well,
weeks or something like that. Or I can go to
unless I
Redbox and rent it for a day.
yeah, and that's like where I am. I was like, well, if a new release is anywhere between $12 to $20, I'm okay with that.
For
If it's
something
something
you're like looking for.
if it's something that I really want, and it's like some special edition, like first run thing, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pay anywhere 25 to $30 for it.
I
But
think that's
just,
fair.
I mean, that's just because that's the kind of consumer that I am. But once something's been released for a while, I mean, come on, man, that's got to be down in like the ten to $12 range.
Well, I mean, like that happens a lot for me with CDs because every once in a while I'll be like, "Oh man, I used to have this CD, and I still have like a 6-disc changer in my car." So I'm like, "Man, I'd love to get this on CD again. I'd love to listen to it in the car." And I was thinking this about one of Tool's albums the other day, and I went on Amazon. It's like $15, and I was like, "That came out in like '94, so no."
Yeah, remember we did that thing when I was trying to find my copy of "And Justice for All."
Yeah,
It was like $25. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
It's like that should be like 5. Like I could go to
Yes.
CD Game Exchange and probably get it for like $7, and it'd be in okay condition.
Yeah, it'll play. That's all I care about.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's going to be the problem with Blu-ray. I could see that, like remember when DVD came out and when Blu-ray came out, it was very much like, especially when DVDs came out, where it's like, look, this looks so much better than the alternative. It's like $35. If you're buying anime, it's like 50. And
Well, that's the same thing with what they're doing with the 4K versions right now.
right.
Like
And
those are baseline 30 and up.
I feel like that's okay for emerging tech like that. And then when you get like John Q Street Fighter fan starting to buy 4K stuff for whatever reason, then I think it'll start sort of pushing that price down because the quantity of people buying it is
Right.
higher.
And is that's just a Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
Or is it
No, it's 4K Blu-rays or 4K and 4K or Blu-rays. It's all the same stuff. It's just more
That's-
data.
the same diode then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just more. It's what is it? 4K
Oh, I
is
didn't show you that one.
Oh, nice. 4K, I think, is 4 times the quality of 1080p, or is it 8 times?
I think it's
I
8
never
because
remember.
UHD's half. That's the 4 times.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
UHD, which should have never been a standard.
well, same thing like the well, I guess HD DVD, but I mean that was close enough in parity at the
Right.
time. But man, I still think Blu-rays look absolutely insane.
I think if they're mastered correctly, I think Blu-rays look really good.
Um,
4K looks great too, but to me, I don't have the best eyesight. So when you compare like 1080p and 4K on like a movie, yeah, I mean,
well,
sure.
yeah, like
To
there's
me, it
certain.
looks good, but that's all I got.
I mean, there are certain things that absolutely pop on a 4K screen, and you're
Oh
just
yeah,
like, what?
like I'd love to see Speed Racer in 4K if it was shot in 4K.
I don't know if anyone's eyes can handle that.
Right. They just pop right out and run away.
Oh yeah, no, and Flippy the Bird as they're running
Right.
away.
Can't do this, bro.
Yeah, like this. No, it'd be like Rick just
Yeah.
getting punched in the eyeballs.
Yeah, I don't
But
know. For me, and maybe it's because not enough people are shooting in 4K or the mastering isn't there or whatnot. But just like comparing the two, for me right now is not like it's not like jumping between like 720 and 1080 or jumping between like VHS and DVD or DVD and Blu-ray where you're just like this looks so much better. Like one
right,
for one, you can just glance at it and be like, oh hello. You know,
yeah.
even moving from DVD to Blu-ray, that's even just like, oh, yeah,
Well,
cool.
I think the biggest thing that hurt the DVD market was the sheer average screen size
Yep.
went beyond the point that you could hide it. Like you
Right.
can't hide on a DVD, like on the size of the media screens that I'm projecting it. Even with upscaling, it's still,
A little
oh
fuzzy.
man.
You know, the fuzziness is what gets me mostly. Where it's like you're
Eh,
upscaling it and you're kind of blowing it up enough that you start losing some of that fine detail and it's sort of like,
you
it
know,
looks good, but
like at this point, like with most DVD stuff, and I'm sure this is gonna look like garbage,
probably.
but I'm probably gonna do it in native resolution, and that way it's boxed in to where it's gonna look its
Right.
best possible.
You don't want to stretch it. You don't want to.
No, you never stretch.
No.
Never stretch.
Looks so bad.
It's the worst. I hate that feature in everything.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to distort the image? Like remember like the old timey like I remember the Clint Eastwood, the long head Clint Eastwood movies,
Yeah.
where instead of chopping off the sides, they stretched the image to fit the 4:3 ratio.
Yep.
And everyone was like, why does everyone look weird?
Yeah, like everyone looks like an alien. They're all like, well, my dad too. Like when I went to their house, I was a couple years ago. I think I was still living in Ohio, and he got a new TV, and he's like, "Why does everything just look weird?" And my mom's like, "No, it looks okay." And it was because they were through their cable box. They were looking at the SD channels, and the cable box was automatically stretching the picture
Yeah.
on SD channels instead of doing what my cable box does, which
Pillars.
is no, my cable box doesn't even do that. If you pick the low SD channels, it just shows you the HD channels. Like if you have them, like if it's channel like 8, it shows you 1008, even though you haven't picked it. Because like you
Yeah.
have the HD service, so why not use that?
That's the one thing that drives me crazy if I go to a restaurant or a bar and their TV is just set up poorly. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
How are you
Like, yeah,
mismanaging these basics?
like this isn't like a 900-pound CRT hanging up there. You can fix this.
Right. Just
Like,
reset to factory at the very minimum.
yeah, it drives me insane.
Yeah.
Like same thing with like with this my setup's probably a little different than most people's that I have downstairs. It's Boston, you gotta see this. Like
Yeah.
it blows me away every time I turn it on.
Yeah.
Like I cannot believe the color representation is that
One of
crisp.
those things where you turn it on and you're like, oh.
It's like this is the best money I have ever spent.
And that's what's so funny about people not understanding how it can be an investment. If you really don't care, like if you're just watching Bravo all day on your TV, buying a Vizio TV is fine. Vizio makes really nice TVs.
Yeah.
But if you want to make an investment in that sort of stuff, even buy a Samsung. That's basically all I buy because it's that sweet middle spot.
Yes.
I can
Between
go
price
with,
and
like,
quality.
I can go with like a Sony and get something really great. I can go with a high-end Samsung and get something really great. But I've got that kind of like $300 video card middle range where it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like, man, you wanna get
I'm
something
gonna
real
t-
good that's gonna last you. You can.
I tell you what, man, I would not like. I wouldn't buy like a Sharp product for so long. This like that Sharp 80 inch that I bought is just
It makes, I'd say about half of their stuff is really good, and the other
yeah.
half is sort of like, eh.
Well, yeah, like this was like their one upscaled high model, the Quatron Plus,
Nice.
like the Q Plus. And it's got that nice tight aluminum bezel on the tops
Yeah.
and bottom and a real thin black pillar on the sides.
Oh man, I'm so happy they've started to make. Well, they've continued to make those real thin bezels on TVs.
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like
that
that
now
makes
like
such a difference.
that like I'm really curious about looking at that LG that's a pane of glass. Like that thing just
Yeah.
looks bananas.
I just want to see it.
Yeah. I don't want to own it. I just want
Yeah.
to look. I just want to see it. I'm
I
like,
should go to Fry's soon and see if they have one of those. Fry's has every TV imaginable.
yeah, that Quatron Plus is. I would recommend that TV for anyone. I would like, and it ranges like that model goes from like 50 to 90.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculously looking, and it does 4K.
Oh, nice.
Like that was like it doesn't do it natively, but it finds a way because the intro to House of Cards is shot in 4K,
Oh, okay.
and wow,
Sweet baby.
like you put that as like here, check this out.
Right.
Like cutting turkey with a lightsaber. Like check this out. You know,
Yeah.
it's
All right. Well, we need to.
what's going on?
It's 2:30, so we should probably start this thing.
Yeah, we've only been on for an hour.
I get too busy chatting. All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, Mr. Knobs.
What's up?
Let's just jump right into it. Knobs, what have you been playing this week?
I'm still writing it down.
Okay.
Because it's only 2 games, so.
Yeah.
But for posterity's sake,
Yeah. To
it must
include
be
everything.
scribed on paper.
So it has been written. So it will be done.
So it will be all right. So we had another great Monday night game night. I was looking on the apps on Xbox One, and it has like that community calendar. I wonder if we can put our community game night up on that thing.
Oh, interesting. I'd be curious.
So I haven't played around with it yet. So I would like to see if that's even possible, because that'd be awesome. Would send a blast out to my friends list
Yeah.
that we're playing Monday Night BF4. I think I may have recruited 1 or 2 more players at Comic-Con. So
Nice.
you know, doing the work on the streets, canvassing for
Pounding
canvassing
pavement.
for game night.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that game still, man. It's. I feel like I play exactly what my skill set has to provide in that game.
Yeah.
Like that's. It feels like it's the culmination of all the work I put into. It's not always the best round. It's not always the worst round. It is like just a nice middle ground that I can feel satisfied that I played that round.
You put in your time. You did what you
I
needed to
did.
do. You clocked in. You clocked out. You can
did.
feel proud of the work you did.
I do.
Yeah.
And it's always fun that, you know, our group is always towards the top leaderboards. I think we're the only people that really play that game the way we're supposed to, so we score a lot of points
Oh, right.
instead of just running around on a big map playing team deathmatch.
Right.
No, there's
that's
other
not the mode we're
objectives that make this more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we got slaughtered a few of those rounds that night. I think one night, or that Monday night, Donnie was separated from the rest of us. He was pretty quiet on mic. And then the one round, we thought we had this thing in the bag, and we ended up losing by 6 tickets. Like, it got down to tied at 8-8, and it just, there's no way. And then the music started playing. They're like, no.
Oh man, that's brutal.
And Donnie's like, hey, I'll take that for the win. I'll see you guys next week. And signs off. But anyway, so the only other game I've really been harboring on and playing a lot of is Borderlands, the pre-sequel, just because that is just the game right now for me. Like right now, I got my ultimate Vault Hunter Doppelganger Jack up to 62. Um, and man, you're just continuously earning XP in the Ultimate Vault Hunter. Like, granted, there is no safety anywhere in this game, like
Yeah.
at that level. So you really have to be on point and have to legitimately know that game and play it well. Oh,
NYC Badger in chat was a couple minutes ago was guessing that your second game would be Bland's TPS.
yeah, it's
Good call.
swish.
That's a safe bet right now.
Yeah, nothing but net. It's like me talking about Battlefield.
Yeah.
Um, God, it's been like how many weeks in a row? It's been at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I've been playing with the Baroness on my playthrough with Scott. He's playing as Wilhelm the Enforcer. I'm playing as the Baroness, which I think her name's Ashia, but it's Sir Hammerlock's sister.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to the point where they're lying about where she's faking her voice because that's what I heard happens when they had the mission with Sir Hammerlock.
Right.
But this continually provides content. Like I don't know how it does it.
Yeah,
Like
you're really wringing as much as you can out of that $60 purchase.
well that I don't think it was 60. I think it was like 40.
That's true, and you get both games. The
Yeah,
Handsome
both
Collection
games.
comes with
And I
both.
haven't even touched Borderlands 2 yet, which I am dying to see how good
Heaven
that
help
looks.
us.
I'm dying to see if it runs as great. This runs like how you remember Borderlands playing.
On PS4, Borderlands 2 looks pretty good, but most importantly, it ran real smoothly. I think it's 60 frames, but it was solid.
Oh, I don't like it's and like when, last night Scott and I were playing and we were fighting like a group of Kragans and like the badass Kragan breaks into two greater Kragans and then those two break into two lesser Kragans.
Right.
Unless you get the super badass one and then that breaks into a whole nother division. So you could end up having like 16 of these things running around on the screen at the same time and they all explode.
Jeez.
So it's like he's like, I can't believe this hasn't dropped frame, and it is madness.
Yeah.
And we're both connected through the internet, so there's a whole host of things that could go wrong there, and it
Yeah, they optimize the hell out of it.
just nails it. But anyway, yeah. So I am slowly pounding my way through my Ultimate Vault Hunter playthrough with Doppelganger Jack, and oh man, everything's dangerous. Everything,
And
everything
it's
everything you take for granted from True Vault Hunter mode because you're just like just destroying that game.
yeah. And that's what I've always told people about Borderlands is, your first playthrough is moderately, sort of middle ground challenging. Your second playthrough is usually like, wow, I'm an overpowered death tank. And they're always like, I just wish Borderlands was harder. It's like you have to play that third
Yes.
playthrough. Enemies are way tougher, has way more armor, regenerating health. Your health sucks. Like
Oh,
everything is not going your way in a way that if you can optimize your build, it still makes it fun because that challenge is there. Like if you really want it, that challenge is there.
well, yeah, and like and then you're respecing and changing your tree to see which is going to give you the best perks that you need to succeed in that higher difficulty.
Right.
Like I didn't even know there was a perk that when you do a butt slam that I can shoot lasers out the
Nice.
front of me.
That seems
So
okay.
anytime I come down now, I not lasers, but it pushes the person directly in front of you away from you too.
You have some Jedi Force push business.
Yeah, but it does dumb damage too, like 120k,
Yeah.
like just boom, and he's gone away from you, and you're able to. It gives you that just enough breathing room that you can grab and re-strafe yourself out.
Right. That's what I
man,
love about those higher difficulties too. Is it doesn't it almost requires you to min max your character like a lot of RPGs, but I find it so interesting because you have so many skill points at that point. It's like, okay, well, I changed that build and that was okay. What if I go back to town and I don't pick that, but I pick this and this and this? And you're almost excited to go back to town to respec and then go out and like play for 30 minutes and be like, okay, that was cool. So now, like now I can do all this other stuff, but oh well, maybe I'm not that great at this. So how do I mitigate that? It's this cool give and take on your character.
Yeah, and at that point you have so many skill points to play with that you're building up not just in one tree, but you can fill. Well, at the point that you finish whatchamacallit, True Vault Hunter mode, you should be floating around 50, 52.
Right.
Like, probably the max you'll be able to squeak out of that unless you're just raiding bosses, like do
Right.
raid monsters just to get your big chunks of XP. But that becomes exhausting because some of those raid bosses take a while.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to move up to the next rank, and then it's just XP, XP, XP. Like, all right, this is where it should be.
Right. Now I'm
Like,
leveling up again. I'm
right,
getting that feedback loop.
you're getting that forward momentum back.
Right.
And but the trade back is you can go back into one-shotting everything to every encounter is going to put you down at some point.
Yeah. It's almost like running across mini bosses when you run into a badass.
Oh yeah, the badasses are every one of them's a handful.
Yeah.
Like even just the regular because most of them fly and are just
Spitting acid on you and freezing you.
yeah.
NYC Badger in chat asks, it's not a one kill mode, is it?
No.
No, birds, please. Very few things.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
It is. I think very few things in Borderlands in general have ever been a one-hit kill. Like I think one of the things I'm so impressed by in Borderlands, even with the raid bosses, is that nothing ever feels mean. Like even with some of the harder raid bosses, they're hard, but it's never like the boss looked at you and your entire party wipes. The boss did something and you got caught in it and it did a ton of damage and you're dead. Like that,
Well,
there's the fairness to it.
well, and that's part of the thing is you got to be mindful of what that boss is telling you how to kill it too.
Right.
Like a lot of it, you got to figure out what the counters for the elementals are. Like the Sentry, the final raid boss, which is probably my favorite raid boss that they've presented yet.
Yeah.
You have his like little human form, and literally you're just beating his shield for 3 rounds, and then the fourth round you take his health down and he dies. But when he has a shield, you're pretty much electric weapons the whole time,
Oh, right.
just to get through his shield fast. But then when he comes up, then each one has a shield, and then like the shield's gone, and then like literally like this faceplate, this mask breaks off of him, and then you hit him. Like almost every shot you land is a crit.
Oh, nice.
And then depending on, I think that's purple, blue, and green, which is the corrosive damage. Just knowing which ones play off of those, explosive damage works across the board.
Right.
Like that, just there's no way around that one, except for shields. Shields absorb a lot of explosive damage, so I use electricity for that. But the cryo and electricity, you're going to hit them with fire. The corrosive damage, you're going to hit with cryo damage, and you see his health bar move so much faster when you're using the right equipment.
Right.
It's just knowing which equipment to use.
Yeah.
That and the grinder is a nice little toy to play with to grind out different pieces of equipment.
It's a cool idea for using, because I think before, either you were selling that equipment for virtually no money, or you were just kind of leaving it laying around in the world, or like tossing it in town somewhere where it's like, I'm full, but I don't care about all these purple weapons. Like, I have all these great other weapons, but now you can actually use them to combine them into something hopefully
Yes.
pretty great.
Yeah, and then having the option to use your moonstones, and it's disappointing that I can only hold 500 of these things at a time because I
Yeah.
just hit that cap this afternoon when I was playing. And I'm like, man, do I really want to go back to Concordia right now and just spend some of these things? Because I have already maxed out my backpack, my ammo, and my bank. Like
Right.
there is nothing I could spend these things on other than the horrible moon chests that use moonstones that I get nothing good out of,
Yeah.
or loom shining weapons,
Right.
which gives my own special thing of perks. But and I haven't really exploited that yet. So right now I'm grinding out perps
Hmm.
so I can try and grind different stuff. And I have way too many legendaries that are level 50.
Yeah.
Like I'm to the point where I'm about to clean house. Like I just sold all my glitch weapons because I haven't played the Claptrap DLC yet, so I know I'm gonna get better versions of this stuff.
Right.
I already got the ones that I've doubled up on by your reward weapons that usually are some of the best weapons that you get. So that's where I'm kind of gaming the game right now, just trying to get myself prepared for that level 72 raid boss at the end of the rainbow.
Right.
So
Man.
that, and I'm just really trying to get some really good equipment through the grinder, and having that one dude drop me those glitched, not the in-game glitch, but those modded shields that I'm able
Oh yeah.
to produce legendary shields at level 70 consistently
Yeah.
that are dumb.
That's gonna be invaluable.
Yes. But yeah, and just happy like the duping system works really well and that it's really easy to do.
And
It
I'm
just
glad,
takes time.
unlike Borderlands 2, they didn't really worry about patching that stuff. Seems like Borderlands 2, the feedback that even we gave them, but everybody else is just kind of like, stop patching so many of these quote unquote exploits. Like it's
Yeah.
primarily a single player game. If you're playing it multiplayer, more often than not, you're playing with your friends, and they don't really care if you're kind of exploiting the game.
The only one that really soured me on them patching was the flesh stick. The
Yeah,
flesh stick mod, because that one was the flesh stick grind, because that was just that was gold.
that was
To
just like,
get
look,
to
I
get
just want to level up some characters. I've been
right.
through this content before. Like,
Yes.
I just want to get it done.
I just want to get this so I have someone to play the game with a little bit, and instead of sitting there having them die continuously in the very hard modes.
Right.
I don't know. It's man, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and man, is that game funny.
Yeah.
I can't. The game writing, even the third, fourth, fifth, however many times I've been through it, is still
Still giggling.
it still gets me to chuckle.
Yeah.
So again, anyone wants to play Borderlands, Handsome Jack, and Xbox One, I am game
Yeah.
because that's
Um.
literally all I'm doing.
Well, on that note, I on my plate this week, I had a pretty crummy week, so I was looking for some real good comfort food games.
So you played Life is Strange.
No, yeah, yeah. Let's just make this week even worse. And I couldn't really get my Wii U to connect to my wireless very well, and I didn't feel like fighting with it. So I played a lot of solitaire on my phone. A lot of it, like, all right, I'm laying in bed and I don't feel like reading anything, because normally when I lay in bed, I'm just reading books.
Mm-hmm.
I found a really good solitaire for iPhone that works pretty well in landscape mode and does not pester me with too many ads. Unfortunately, it's just called Solitaire, so it's a little hard to recommend. It's made by Mobility Wear. I don't know why you would just call it Solitaire, but it works, so it's not killing me with ads either. I finally got my copy of DOA 5 Last Round for the Xbox One. Popped that in to let that install last night. That's a really weird install process.
It is.
So for anybody that hasn't been through it, so there's two versions of DOA 5 now. There's DOA 5 Core Fighters, which is the free-to-play DOA 5. It comes with between 4 and 8 fighters. There are 32 fighters now, I think.
Yeah.
You can just try out DOA 5. If you've ever been curious about DOA 5, just go get Core Fighters. It's legitimately free. And you can buy like story mode, and you can buy each individual character and all that stuff. So if you want to get deeper into it, you can. Last Round, the full version is so cheap. I think I got it for like $25. So if you like DOA 5, just go buy the full package. It's going to be cheaper. Putting in Last Round, it installed Core Fighters, and then installed all of the individual fighters, and then installed like a bunch of sound and voice packs, and installed like 2 other packs. And
Yeah,
that's
when you
like
see
DOA
that
5
queue,
installed.
you see that queue go up, and it's just like,
It was like 35
like,
things, and I was just like,
what is happening?
why are you doing this? And then, of course, I went to go start it, and they're like, no, man, you got to get a patch. It's like, oh my god, okay, let's do yeah, this. And that's not me saying like, oh, Xbox One's way worse than PS4. PS4 does that to me all the time too, where it's like, game's installed, and you go to fire it up, and it's like, wait,
Yeah, wait a
giant
second.
patch, hold on. So I played through, just to get my feet wet again, I played through arcade mode as Kasumi, which went
Mhm.
okay. I haven't played a DOA game in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I played Score Attack as La Mariposa, which also went pretty well, and I forgot how fun she is to play.
Oh, that game. She is animated amazingly well.
Yep. And I forgot that, what's the name of that lady that boxer lady they added in 4?
Oh no, that was 5. They added to her. Oh my God, 700 so good with her too.
I don't remember what her name is, but I always forget how horrifically brutal her punches are. Like, they animated her and they did the sound effects so well that when she hits you, the game seems like your head should just come clean off your shoulders.
Oh yeah, she has this great little jump overhand right, and it just sends you cruising.
Yeah. Man, DOA 5 is good. And it's kind of nice to play a 60 frame per second game again. Like, that game looks great. The particle effects are crazy. And it's just it's pretty great. And I looked it up because I forgot how many costumes come with the last round. It's like 300.
Oh yeah, it's dumb.
I know a lot of people think that DOA 5 is an easy target for DLC gone mad. It's really not, because you don't need to buy any of the costumes. But man, I know they have like multiple packs that are like $100 a pop or whatever for costume. I will never be buying any of those. But man, the value proposition
Oh,
for
Mila.
Mila, yeah,
Yeah.
just brutal. The value proposition for buying DOA 5 last round is you get 32 characters, including all of the DLC that comes out. There's a new character coming out next month. And you get over 300 costumes for all these characters. It's crazy. So, looking forward to playing more of that, and I'm sure Knobs and I will hook up at some point and start getting our feet wet again playing DOA 5, but
Yeah, like I mean, they even added like one of my favorites, Rachel. She's a tank
Yep.
from Ninja Gaiden.
yep.
Um, I'm
One of
just
the
looking at
characters that makes sense to be in that game.
Yeah, then man, who's whatchamacallit? The one like the one that's the biggest tank that should not be a tank just by the look of him is Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot is a monster
He's
in that
always
game.
sort of been a monster, but it seems like in this one, I fought against him last night. I was like, oh, it's Elliot. I just have to watch out for his punches. Nope.
Nope.
He worked me over pretty good.
No, he is a handful. Like he
Yeah.
is one of my favorite characters to use. He has that really great 20 hit combo that you can string together,
Yeah.
and it is just
He has a little
it's
more reach than you'd think, too.
oh yeah, the train's coming.
Yeah.
Best get out of the way.
Man. So I didn't play too much of that, but I did play. We talked about last week on releases that Hitman Go came out for consoles. So I bought that. It was on sale. It was like 20% off if you're a PS Plus member. So it was like $6.50 on PS4. So I picked that up, and man, that game is super good. It's kind of nice. It's a nice game to play through a couple puzzles, and then sort of be like, all right, that's kind of it's like a winding down game, almost like on the 360 we were using Puzzle Arcade as our winding down game, where it's like, all right, I have like maybe a half an hour before I have to go to bed. Maybe I'll just play something like this. It's not heavy lifting. It's not anything crazy, but it's fun and I can kind of chill out with it.
Right.
So Hitman Go is pretty good like that. The last two games I played are ones I want to talk a little bit more about. I think I had said last week, and a bunch of people sent in a lot of good comments where I was just like, look, I want to play a JRPG. Like, I just want to play a standard, like comfort food JRPG. So I picked up, somebody had let me know that Pierce Solar and the Great Architects was out on PS4, which I didn't realize. So I picked that up because I could figure, man, a JRPG made for the Genesis in 2007 is probably going to be a fairly traditional JRPG. And yes, it is, but maybe in all the wrong ways. Um, it first off, it has two different sound settings. One is if your old school system would have an FM chip,
Mm-hmm.
and then if your system would have a PCM chip. So it's like very much the chip tune like Genesis style.
Okay.
And then it has three graphical settings. One is 16-bit, where that's the Genesis version. Like it's all sprites, it's all not a lot of colors, no shadows. It looks faithful. Then they have HD, which is clean backgrounds with those characters on top of it. And they have HD Plus, which is clean backgrounds with clean characters on top of it. So it's kind of nice that they have all these different options. If you like 16-bit Genesis RPGs, then you can make it look like Phantasy Star 4, basically. But if you don't, if you have no patience for any of that stuff, then you can just make it look like a more modern game. I think the only real bad part about it is it's a little, at least in the first hour, it's a little too beholden to being a 16-bit JRPG. Like the amount of tutorials they give you, the amount of directions they give you, the things you have to do in the game to continue the story are never as clear as maybe they should be. So I kept my big example here is when you start, you meet this. It's so stereotypical JRPG. You get woken up because you're oversleeping, and you meet your childhood friend, and you guys are going to go off on an adventure to go save your sick and dying father by getting these herbs out of this cave, which nobody comes back from. And you have to go get your friend's bow from her house, and then you have to go get another friend from his lab. I go get the other friend from his lab, and then I go to the shop and I buy a bow for this other person, but that wasn't what the game wanted me to do. So every time I would try to go anywhere else on the map, it'd be like, no, you can't do this yet. Haven't you read the notes? It's just like, so I had to find like this hidden building in town that was this lady's building, go talk to someone, she got a bow, and then I could go upon my way. And then immediately I start getting into some random battles, and they're so friggin' hard. Like to the point where I'm sort of thinking like, did I get into the wrong? Am I in like a rant, like the next area I should be in after I finish the first dungeon? But that seemed to be the only way I could really go. So I stopped playing Pure Solar.
It's
like
it defeated you already.
It's not really, but it's not really the RPG I'm looking for right now. I'm not looking for like the traditional hardcore 16-bit recreation experience. Where it's sort of like it's not the story that matters, it's really the gameplay and kind of beating the game as it's trying to beat you down. That's not really the experience I'm looking for. So I popped in the new Tales game, Tales of Zestiria, which is, they're going crazy with these names. That's exactly the game I'm looking for. I'm 6 hours through it. It is some real anime business. It is a bunch of pretty anime dudes and some pretty anime ladies, and we are saving the day, and it is, you're the only human in this. There's these things in the world that are they're basically ghosts. And you're friends with all these ghosts, but you're the only one that can see them. That's so weird. You must not be special, right? Oops. Wait, you are. And it's very much like, you're this special savior that only comes every 200 years, and you can do all this stuff better than any of these other saviors can do, and it's just really great. It's like eating your favorite food and putting on like snuggling up on the couch with a warm blanket. Like it's that standard Tales game, and everybody's super happy. Nothing is going wrong, and everything is good, and it's so
Huh.
stereotypical that I'm eating it up. But the thing that I think is really interesting about the Tales games is, the voice acting is good. It looks great. It's 1080p 60 solid. The battle system is still so good. It is still that third person kind of free running hack and slash that Tales has been for a really long time. And it's so good. And I haven't played maybe the last 2 or 3 Tales games. So I sort of treat it like Pokemon, where it's like, oh, this one's supposed to be really good. All right, so now I catch up. Like, here's all the little improvements they've made over the last 3 games. Like, now you can fuse weapons. It's a lot like grinding in Borderlands. Where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take. But what's really interesting is you take 2 of the exact same item, even if you have them, one of them equipped. They have to be the exact item, and you fuse them together, and it gets a little bit stronger than the previous one, but you gain an ability on top of it.
Right.
So it has this really interesting grid that each character has, where each individual item that you can equip in a slot on your character has a row on the skill sheet. And it's basically, you can decide whatever you fill in those rows, but it's determined by the gear that you have equipped. So, like, you can equip this chest armor, and it'll have plus 15 defense on it. But if you fuse that with another chest armor, it'll be chest armor plus 1, and then it'll have plus 15 defense, but it'll also have now plus 5 magic defense. And if you fuse that with another one, it'll have those 2, but it'll also have plus 5% health recovery, something like that. So it's kind of neat that gear isn't really ever bad, even if its stats aren't as good as the one that you have. But you can kind of mush them together to continue making even better equipment.
But when you unequip those or you switch equipment, does it take those perks away from you?
It does, but if you're equipping better gear, typically it'll have those skills, but a better version of them. So it'll be like, oh, I'm removing this chest armor, and it had plus 5 magic resist, but now this one has plus 15, and I'm increasing my defense, and I'm increasing all this other stuff. And there's this interesting system that I'm sort of still trying to wrap my head around, where the skill tree is a grid, and you get bonus benefits if you match up 5 skills vertically in the same line, or 3 skills next to each other horizontally.
Okay.
So, like, if you can kind of mix and match your armor to fill in enough of these boxes, you get even better benefits out of all of this stuff you're equipping. So it's kind of interesting. It's not just, well, I'm going to equip this sword because it's stronger. If it is stronger, but you lose all these skills,
Then it's really not beneficial.
yeah, which is kind of neat, because the thing about JRPGs typically is, oh, well, I'll get this new sword, I had a bronze sword, now I have an iron sword. It's better, yay. Now I kill badgers faster. But trying to manage all these skills and trying to fit all this stuff in, on top of you gain a proficiency for the weapon that you have equipped. And it's not just like, oh, I use swords so I get better at swords over time. You gain a proficiency for the individual weapon that you have equipped. So,
Okay.
and it goes up to like 5 stars, basically. So you're filling up an experience bar on a weapon or on any item that you have equipped up to 5 times. So the more you're actually using that thing, the more it's unlocking skills, and you're fusing it for more skills, but you're getting better with that individual item the more you're actually using it in battle. So it's kind of nice because they put all these systems together to encourage you to kind of stick with something a little bit more than JRPGs historically do. Hi, cat. You can't have my mac and cheese. I'm sorry.
But I love cheese.
He really does. Um, so it's kind of neat because it throws a little bit more strategy on your gear rather than, well, now I've hit a new town, so just buy one of these and equip everybody with one of those, and it's something a little bit cooler. Um, so far, the story has been pretty. I think I'm 6 hours in. So far, the story has been fairly predictable, but I'm waiting to see if this is one of those Tales games where you get 15 hours in or you get halfway in, and the whole thing kind of turns on its head like Vesperia or Abyss did.
Right.
Um, but even if it doesn't, it's kind of fun. It's like it's kind of the exact game I was looking for at this time where I know I'm going to run into a dungeon and I'm going to get a new party member and it's going to have like the only elemental affinity that I don't have yet. And that happens, on a T and without very
Does it have
much...
slag?
Yeah, exactly. Like without very much cajoling, they just kind of join my group. Even though it has seemingly some dire circumstances and consequences for them as an individual person. They don't care. They're just hopping on the bandwagon. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun in that regard, where it's a little campy, it's a little dumb, but the dungeons are fairly interesting so far. The battle engine is great, and they've made your gear matter, which I think is something that will probably push me pretty far in that game. And it's something I'd like to see them continue to do, rather than just, this sword's better than this one, so let's throw out this other one and sell it back.
Right.
So far so good on that one. I'm hoping I can finish that one because it seems pretty fun. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
All right.
I'm gonna eat more of this mac and cheese. That's probably cold, but that's okay.
Crap. No, I don't want to. That's ridiculous.
What's that?
So, I don't know. I think there's something not really working with this because I retconned this Langley case for the computer I built, and right now, like, I think my PC's running at 63 centigrade.
Okay.
Which is why that fan is always like blasting. That's why it's an oven in here.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about just buying a new case and just reinstalling it with a better heat sink and stuff on it. Cause like I took it apart, looking at it, I'm like, man, I got to take the motherboard out to put this heat sink on. I don't feel like dicking with this right now.
Right. Do you want me to send you a link for the case that I bought that has all that padding on it, so it's extra quiet?
Sure. Because I was looking at this other Langley case, so I pull up Langley full tower, so I figured the more real estate, the easier it's going to be working.
Right.
Their cheapest case in a full-size tower is $200.
Oh, yeah.
The first one that popped up in the search was $444.
Their cases are so expensive, man.
Yeah, but they're constructed so well.
Do you want a window on it or not?
I don't need to see it. I mean, because right now, like, I have everything open.
Right.
And it's still, I don't know, maybe that's fucking with the airflow.
Come on, Amazon. All right, here's the one I have. It is $85.
That seems reasonable.
And it is quiet. I'll put it in chat too, why not? As I've been looking at potentially building a new machine, I'm going to be reusing this case. Without a doubt. Sorry, everyone, for eating on camera. I don't know.
All right. Oh, that's on
it.
Damn you, whatchamacallit, Skype for moving your buttons all over the place.
I really hate when they upgrade. It's like, we have a new version. It's like, oh no.
What'd you break now? Ooh. That is very minimalist.
That's originally why I was looking at it. It is flat black. And it is silent. It doesn't... There are no LED lights on it except for the power button. And you can disconnect that if you want. And
yeah.
it is just clean.
Boomer. No, I like that the things are on top, so you can actually set something on top of it and
Yep.
plug it in. No, that is sharp.
And like they have all this padding on each one of the doors, and even on the door that opens to swing in the front, the inside of that is padded too. It's all like baffling
Does the
sound padding.
PC board side swing out?
Um, Not on the one that I have, but I think on the new ones they do have the swinging door.
Well, because I mean that's the one thing I liked about not this one, that Raid Max case that I bought that opened like gall doors
Oh right,
that it folded out this way, so I could open this side up, work on all my stuff, then make all my connections.
right.
That way, I mean screwing it down so I'm not in those little tight spots.
Yeah. I know
Fractal.
this one has like the under motherboard SSD tray.
Hmm.
But and the cabling grommets, but other than that, I don't remember.
Paste. I was gonna see, and that's just Fractal Design.
Basically, everywhere sells them now.
Yeah, no, I'm checking them on Newegg.
Newegg for a long time was the only one that was selling it.
You know, I'm just stupid loyal to sites.
Newegg's always done good business.
I've never really had a problem with anything I've ordered from them, and RMAing through them is the simplest thing I've ever done.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm actually gonna,
I really like the feet on, like, as dumb as that sounds. I really like the feet
on these fractal ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're meaty.
like that looks like that's gonna absorb a lot of motion.
Yep. That's the thing that's nice is like all this stuff in this case and all this sound padding they have and everything just makes it so silent. The only thing you hear is like when you're firing up a game and your video card starts going. But that's the price of doing business. I actually just cut the third news story off these show notes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's interesting enough to.
What is? Oh, we kind of pre-showed the DVD thing, the any DVD,
Yeah, exactly.
which is pretty funny. Do.
Someone sent me a tweet. Oh, there we go.
I mean, is that the way this is going? Whether a game gets enough pre-orders, whether they're going to release it or not anymore? I mean, come
That's
on.
really the first time I've seen it, and I didn't realize it was a Japanese-only Vita game. So that's interesting because the Vita is doing much better in Japan than it's doing here.
Right.
But it seems weird to cancel a game that's in development and like has gotten far enough that you're accepting pre-orders for it.
Yeah, I mean, based on pre-orders, you just pull the plug. That's just.
It seems weird. Like I'm sure somebody put some numbers into an Excel spreadsheet and said, well, if we cancel it now, then we recoup enough of our costs by canceling it. But if we finish it and release it, maybe we'll never make that money back. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Now, how do I close that? Aha!
Haha, I gotcha.
Buttons. All right. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases for this week of February 29th, 2016.
Happy Leap Day.
Happy Leap Year.
Yeah. I forgot to say that at the top.
Yeah. Broforce for the PlayStation 4, which is free with PS Plus.
Sony's been doing that really cool thing every couple months where in the store on the PS4 you can go and vote for one of 3 games that are going to come out the next month for one of them to be free with PlayStation Plus. Unfortunately, Broforce won. I was hoping that Assault Android Cactus would have won because that game
that's on
looks
principle.
amazing.
Name alone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then you see it and it is crazy.
Pug Monkey Baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Far Cry Primal comes out for the PC.
I was thinking about putting that on my wish list here for whenever the inevitable price drop happens, because it's another Ubisoft open world game. Mm-hmm. But the reviews of that have been pretty middling that I don't know if I would want to spend the time to play that. Like, no malice towards Ubisoft. It just, I enjoyed Far Cry 4, so it seems like there's almost no reason for me to play this one, because it doesn't sound like it does anything better.
necessarily different either,
Yeah.
other than it's prehistoric.
Well, and the thing that I worry too about, like the stuff that the problem Assassin's Creed was running into with Black Flag, and it got real bad with Unity, was just the stuff on the map problem. Where you pull up the map, and it's just, there's hundreds of icons. You don't have to do all of them, but it's a thing where it's just like, I'm having trouble even telling where I'm supposed to go. Nevertheless, what's optional and required, and all this other. Like, I just want to tell me where I'm supposed to go. Like, unlock this stuff over time. I don't need all this stuff right now.
That's it. Icon overload. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I don't know where to start and where do you want me to go.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat XL for the PlayStation 4 and XPO.
It hurts us. I think Bo Rai Cho comes back in this version.
Oh, yeah, no, it's Mortal Kombat 10 large
Right.
for
Right.
the PlayStation 4 and XPL.
Yeah.
XBO.
Get it right, Knobs.
Yeah,
It's
come on.
cross large.
Excuse me.
Pardon.
ZXL.
Yeah, yes. Made by Arc System Works. Double XL.
That would probably be an awesome game.
That would be. I would love to see Arc System Works make a Mortal Kombat game.
I just need Arc System Works to make Shadow or Eternal Champions.
Great.
Oh, that needs to
Kickstarted,
happen.
everyone. I'll put my money where my mouth is.
I'll throw 10L at it.
Heyo.
Heavy Rain comes to the PlayStation 4.
If you missed it on PS3, it's quite an experience. I think it's download only in the US. It's a thing. It's
Yeah. By the
One of
way,
those-
I still have your copy.
really.
Yep.
You could have kept it forever. I would have had no idea.
But it's not mine.
That's true. I appreciate your honesty.
I am.
Yeah.
I do. I do. I have things separated from everything else. I keep things segregated.
What else do you have?
I have My Neighbor Totoro.
I was just looking at that on Blu-ray the other day. I was like, I should own that in my collection. That's a good movie.
Why don't I own this? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, I do. Good times. I'm going to go fire up DVD Profiler and say, rent it out to
Yeah.
John Knobloch in 2008.
The dude was earlier than that.
Rent it out when DVDs were hot.
But I watched that. I love it.
It's a good movie.
Yes. You don't like My Neighbor Totoro. You don't have a soul.
It's true.
He's
I'm
so
sorry
cute.
to say.
There was someone at the Comic-Con walking around with a giant Totoro, just hugging it the whole day.
Perfect.
Good for you. Way to commit.
Yeah.
And Legend of Zelda, The Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U.
I was not the biggest fan of that game when it came out on
Nope.
GameCube.
Wii U. And GameCube, actually.
Both, yeah. Remember, one was right-handed Link, the other one was left-handed.
Right, so if you own a Nintendo platform, I'm sure it came out for the SNES.
Probably. I played it on GameCube, and I thought it was okay. I would kind of like to revisit it, but
No,
not not for full price.
I got stuck somewhere in that game. I'm just like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, and my problem, too, with modern Zelda games is the tutorial can't be 3 to 5 hours long. Like, don't give me, like, talk to everybody in town and go to 2 dungeons, and then eventually you could turn into a wolf. Give me the beginning, because it was cool.
You know, Nintendo, just Metroid Prime, and I will buy your system.
There you go. That's all you need.
And I would buy that before PlayStation 4.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame you. Metroid Prime is great.
Metroid Prime is awesome.
Yeah. All right,
Everything looks like...
moving on to news stories. Harmonix says it's perfect timing for rhythm games to come to PC.
What?
Okay. This was... I mostly wanted to bring this up because they talked about, you know, they're interested in bringing a lot more of their rhythm games. It seems like mostly Rock Band to the PC, because they said, quote, first and foremost was the lack of awareness on the consumer side. There's no notable marketing effort for many of the PC iterations of past releases on PC, end quote.
They did.
I think maybe one Guitar Hero game came out for PC, but the thing that's weird is Rocksmith has done incredibly well on PC. Like, by and far, Rocksmith has done so well. It's not that rhythm games don't work on PC, it's that you have to bring them out and put them on Steam. Like, and Harmonix is having such a hard time now because Amplitude flopped. Let's be honest about it. It wasn't what that game needed to be and landed flat on its face, unfortunately. Rock Band 4 came out in probably a little earlier than it should have, and it's finally in a state that's a little bit better. But people kind of don't care anymore. And Guitar Hero Live did something way different. And it did okay for Activision, but probably not on the level where we'll see another Guitar Hero for this generation.
It'll happen this gen. There'll be a resurgent in 2 years.
You think?
Easily.
Because
I would even go as far as say within 2 years.
Because I think with how they've set both of those games up, they've set them up as platforms. Because Guitar Hero the focus is so minimally on that, FMV style story thing, and it's more on playing these channels of music videos that you play the guitar parts over, which is interesting. And they keep recycling those, and they keep pulling out old stuff and putting in new stuff. And Rock Band 4 is very clearly, positioning itself as a marketplace and as this platform that they've always tried to be. And that's probably part of the reason why they wanted to come out with it so early in on the two platforms' life cycles. But, even talking to people at work, nobody wants more plastic instruments.
Right. Who wants all that stuff?
I have another guitar in my house now. And I like playing Rock Band, but it's not as fresh as it was before. And I'm glad, as much as it was fun, I'm glad that they pulled out the keyboard stuff, because that was just another thing that you had all this stuff, and it's just I think that's why I think it was Ubisoft that does Just Dance and one of the other ones, Sing It or whatever it is, EA made SingStar, yes. Sony does that. I think they moved into, hey, you can just play this with your smartphone. Yeah. Everybody has one. Either, for Just Dance, you hold the phone, and that's like the sensing thing that you use to dance with. For SingStar, it's sing into your smartphone like a microphone. Like, those make sense, and you don't have to have, my wife and I wanted to play Rock Band lately, and it's like, okay, where's our microphone? It's like, I don't know.
Well, and that's part of the thing. Like, the novelty has worn off from when that was like really fun and cool. Like,
getting drunk with your
instruments, we're so far removed from that party atmosphere.
Right.
Where have like a Rock Band party or a Guitar Hero party, and when those moments happen, don't get me wrong, they're amazing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to having all these peripherals, like, the novelty wears off really fast unless it's an extremely focused thing.
Yeah.
Like the controllers for Seen It.
Yes.
Like, I still have those, and I brought those out when Scott and his wife were over, and all four of us, Liz was with us. We all played Seen It with the controllers, and it's the right input for that, and it still has that really cool novelty factor to it. That this goes with that, and that's it.
And go ahead.
And I was going to say this, like, I think the guitar thing wore out its welcome so hard that we haven't got to the point where that could be fun again.
Well, and I think too, like, if you're going to have a collection of, because Rock Band 4, I don't think they've put it in yet. If they have, my apologies. Doesn't have online multiplayer. So if you want to play with your friends, they're going to have to be in the same house as you are. And at that point, there's so many other options. Even if you look at something like Smash Brothers, or any number of hundreds of local multiplayer games that are available on PC for like $5. You can play like Samurai Gun or with Towerfall or any of these games that are all coming like Gang Beasts. They're like these $5 things where it's simple to pick up and play, and it's fun, and your investment is just maybe 4 Xbox 360 controllers because you probably have 20 of them. You know, if not, your friends can probably bring over one of their own. You
Right.
plug them all into your PC, you make them work, and then you're just kind of set up. So, I think when you look at, all right, well, here's this video game that's $60. If you want another guitar, it's $100. If you want the drums and everything, it's $250. That's a console.
Yeah.
You know, like, it just doesn't, you know, we were talking about value proposition earlier. When you look at a $250 game that has all this music on top of it, assuming you don't have any, if you do, the proposition is a little bit easier. You can go with these $250 things and say, that'll buy me 4 full-price brand new games. Or if I go on Amazon right now and buy some older games, it's going to buy me like 10 games instead of 1. So,
Yeah, that investment equation doesn't balance itself out anymore.
right. So, I don't know. I would like to have Harmonix keep doing what they're doing. They make good stuff. They have made good stuff. And they've stumbled for the last couple of years. But I think they need to figure out what makes them unique again and capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, what made them unique was the weird, and I think they've hit such mainstream that I think they've lost focus.
and I think
Because the things that made Frequency so great was 99% of that music you have never heard before.
right.
There were 2 recognizable, maybe 3 recognizable songs in that entire game.
And even those were sort of like weird.
Yeah. And then they went full on pop with Amplitude, and even they were still able to get these really weird songs in there.
Yeah.
And some of the worst I've ever heard.
But you look at the new Amplitude, and, you know, graphically it's there. Control-wise, it's fine. You know, there's issues with the controller that's out of their control. But they got too artsy with it. Like, there's that 15 songs that are part of that campaign. That's not what I want. I want some dude who's making music in his basement, and you pulled him off of SoundCloud to get him in the game, but his song is just brutal. I want that dude.
Yeah. I
You know?
want a computer controller ripping my fingers apart.
Exactly. And what we got are a lot of really good songs, but it's all just like a little misguided. They need to find that core that made Harmonix great and get back on that.
Give me an acrobatic album. Come on.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. But in much more exciting news, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is now backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Great.
That's literally all that news story has to offer.
That's all it needs to be.
I'm very sorry for your time.
No, I can't high score anymore. I can't do it.
Can you?
I could.
Could
but
you
I
beat your
do,
old
do, I, do I want to?
Yeah, you do. It's still good. All right, let's move on to tweets. AdamBlack39 writes in, "Hey guys, are you down for Doom Day 1, and what do you think the campaign will be like?" Somebody wrote the other day, campaign's supposed to be like 12 to 15 hours?
What?
So, that's pretty standard for Doom. They changed some of they removed the graphical filter, that yellow graphical filter recently.
Yeah.
So it looks a little bit better now. Cautiously optimistic, I guess, is probably the thing I'm going to say. I want it to be good. I legitimately do. I don't want another Doom game to come out and be seen like Quake 4. Where it's sort of like, should you guys have made that? Maybe not.
Quake 4 wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but
it wasn't memorable.
it didn't seem necessary.
It wasn't memorable. But no, I remember playing through. Do I remember playing through that game? I know I played it, but no, I mean, I don't know. It's like those properties are like for me like always ones you need to buy. Like
At least to check it out.
like Wolfenstein, Quake, those are the old guard.
Yep.
And I was even thinking while I was playing Borderlands about how not gonna say not spoiled, but like most gamers really don't understand the links it took to get to this point, to get the way these things operate.
Sure.
Like I was sitting there thinking of like, yeah, remember when it used to stretch the screen for looking up
Yeah.
and like all these like technological hurdles that we had to get by, like even just in input devices alone.
Like you couldn't jump in the first
Yeah.
two Doom games.
You just run really fast.
Yeah. You run really fast off of something.
Yes, and skip your way there.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want Doom, the new Doom, to be good. I just, and it's not.
But how
even
does
that
but how does it stand out in a sea of shooters anymore?
I think the only way it can stand out is by getting like almost Lovecraftian with it. Because if you think like the only other games we've had with like really weird like semi-demonic Lovecraftian stuff is The Darkness.
Yep.
And we don't get enough like first-person shooter games that are either they're all the way horror and it's like, oh well, we're in an asylum and there's some weird stuff happening. You don't get that weird supernatural. You'll get sci-fi, but you don't get that like weird supernatural, like these things are from hell. You're going to hell and it looks crazy.
Man, I don't know, man. Shadow Warrior did a great job with that.
Sure. Well, I mean, that unfortunately got missed by a lot of people.
I cannot believe it's mind-blowing, really,
Yeah.
that game.
The
But
second
no,
one will give it another chance, though.
But I mean, yeah, like Doom, like I would love to see them take that game and give me 1-1. Give
Yeah.
me 1-1
Yep.
and see how that looks now.
Yep. I mean, with knowing id, it's probably a secret level in the new Doom. And then they'll
That
have
would
like a Wolfenstein level from
Well,
like the original Wolfenstein 3D.
But even that, like even what they did with the retooled Wolfenstein games, the dream sequences done in Spear of Destiny and Castle Wolfenstein, like just
Right.
that stuff was so great.
And I feel like that gives me a lot more hope for the new Doom. Where it's saying they can take Wolfenstein, this this game that wasn't theirs originally and they kind of stole, that they can take this original property from the late 80s and early 90s and successfully translate it to 2015, 2016. And if they can do that with Wolfenstein, which I think would be a little bit harder than Doom, I'm hoping that they can be successful with Doom. They've had it in the oven for so long.
because with Doom they're not locked into a time period.
Right. They just need. They literally just need to go to hell. You need to start somewhere in space, find a portal to hell, go down there, and make everything look like a metal album.
Yeah, go to Mars, grow some potatoes, and go to hell.
Yep. 3 acts.
I mean, what else you got to do?
I'm hoping it's good. I won't be there day one.
Sorry, spoilers for The Martian. He grew potatoes.
Yeah. It's in like every trailer now. I won't be there day one, but I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah, I'll probably be in day one.
Yeah.
Just because
Somebody's gotta.
It's a legacy property. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like anything comes out with Unreal, I'm in. Anything comes out with Doom or an id property that I had growing up, like I'm that core audience that still loves those games.
Yep. You are nothing if not loyal.
Oh, that's very true.
Whiskmag
And honest.
And honest. That's true. Especially about other people's property.
Yes.
OPP. Whiskmag writes in,
you know me.
In interest of current events for the podcast, any instance of east to west game changes that bothered you / seemed unnecessary? I linked something from Jeff Gersman saying there's this weird groundswell of people, especially focused on Nintendo, where they're like, stop censoring our games when they're coming out, not realizing that that's not what censorship is. But more often than literal translations have done poorly for video games in the past, localizations have done very well for video games in the past. Additionally, these are like Pokemon and Zelda. Like, just let it go. So I linked to this thing that Jeff Gerstmann was talking about, saying if you care that much about the source material, do like people were doing in the 90s and learn Japanese and import this stuff. It's never been easier to import stuff. Everything except for the 3DS is region free.
Yeah.
So if you care that much about it, go learn it. Go learn something new. Japanese is hard, I'm sure, but
It's why was that like the second or third hardest language to learn
probably,
with
yeah.
all the different dialects and stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's Chinese. I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah. So,
yeah, but remember the stuff that we would have to remember. We would see those ads in the magazines, like get this Dragon Ball Z game and send $100
yeah.
to here, and then never get
It
it.
was always like the last page in the EGM where it was like import games, $250 for Mark of the Wolves for the Neo Geo, and it's like
Yeah.
who has a Neo Geo, and it's like all games are in Japanese, and it's like how would that work? What do I do? It was like this mystery. It almost seemed like Pandora's box, where it's like if I could get these Japanese games, I could play all this stuff.
Yes,
Like Final Fantasy V didn't come out here until Game Boy Advance, and it was like the lost game for us for so long. It was always in the back where it's like Final Fantasy V, $125. It's just like I could. Now you can get it for like $13 on eBay for the Japanese version, but like there was this mystery about it. It was like, God, if I could only learn Japanese, the games we could play.
yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know. That's something I've always been kicking around for a long time, but I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, where would you find the time?
I'm
Really?
patient. I'm patient, so I can wait.
Yeah. And I think, to answer his question, I think when there was a lot of stuff during like the Genesis and Super NES and NES days, especially on the Nintendo side, where it was weird stuff like nobody would die, they would just faint.
Yeah.
Like they removed all the crosses from games, even if they were like the red cross, red cross on a white background. They'd remove all that stuff. They'd put a bell instead. It'd be like, oh, it's a church, but not like one of the religious ones. They do a lot of that stuff. Lately, I don't think there's anything that's really gotten my dander up. JRPGs are usually the only thing that really loses out on any of this localization stuff. I think a lot of stuff you look at lately has sort of been like, okay, that makes sense. Either like the original stuff is just you would have to remove or change so majorly to make it fit Western audiences, or it just doesn't make any sense. Other than that, I can't think of anything where I'm like, how dare they?
No, I can't think. Nothing's coming directly to mind where not only if I would even notice.
Plus, I kind of feel like I've to kind of piggyback on your earlier point about, we've come so far with games. I'm happy that we get multiple JRPG releases a year. Because back when we were young, it was like, all right, a new Final Fantasy game is coming out. It's $150. You have no idea when another one's coming out.
Yeah, same thing like Fantasy Star games.
Yep.
You got Fantasy Star 3, and you never saw another one until the next iteration of the system.
Yep. And at that point, it's sort of like, boy, I'd really like if another Phantasy Star comes out. I don't know if it ever will. Ever.
Yeah.
So now, like, somebody's bringing Bravely Second to the US, and they're changing a costume for one of the characters. Cool. I'm happy to play it. And it's not crazy that they're changing it. I get it. All right, fine.
Yeah,
I'm a little too
it's
old
just,
to really care about it.
It's just so much superfluous stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to.
I'd rather get mad at something that is deserving of that energy.
Right.
Instead, like, yeah, you changed a little bit of stuff, you maybe removed some of this stuff, but half the time, like, one of the famous examples is, I think it was Yakuza 3, I think it was, there was this quiz game that Sega had made, and when Sega localized it, they removed the quiz game completely, because there was something about how Sega of Japan made it, where the each one of the answers that you get to choose from like the 4 options were images and not text. So to go and localize those would have been, Sega of America said it would have been such a huge undertaking that we probably wouldn't have brought the game over because it was so much work. So instead we just cut it out and then you can play the game. And people are still like, how dare you? It's like, well, you can't, you still got to play the game in English. Like, you can't be that mad. You can be disappointed. It's like I always say, you can be disappointed. You can't be mad.
Right.
You can say like, oh man, that's a bummer. I would have liked to play that. Oh well, back to playing this game I would have gotten in English otherwise. But you can't be like, I'll sue you. How dare you? I don't know. Alright, moving on to emails. Before we get too much down that rabbit hole. Michael S. says, hey guys, if there was a law passed against people spoiling a game's storyline, which games do you think would qualify to make this law active? In other words, which games do you think should never be spoiled no matter how old it is and need to be played for yourself? Have you ever broken this unwritten law outside the show? Love the show, guys, and keep giving the people what they want. I think I've spoiled games on the show by accident. Dead Space 2. We had a whole conversation and I was just like, that's a spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I feel like the first BioShock, obviously we're not going to spoil it, but I feel like that's one that even today, you know nothing about it, playing through the game, that would still be one of those things where it's like, oh.
Would you kindly not spoil BioShock?
Right. And I think that would be, that's like one of my more solid examples is, you know, people always want to say Final Fantasy VII. It doesn't matter. That spoiler doesn't matter. BioShock spoiler matters.
I would say a game like Life is Strange.
Right.
I don't
especially because it's new-ish.
Yeah.
NYC Badger says Walking Dead. There's a couple of moments in like the first season of Walking Dead where you're just like, oh, what?
Oh yeah, that you're dying to talk about.
Yeah.
Man, what would be another good one? Dead Space was a good one.
Yeah, Dead Space 1 is probably a solid one.
Yeah, Dead Space 1 is definitely a solid one.
Mostly for stories that kind of, when you get to that spoiler point, it makes you look at the whole game again and you're like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like everything starts turning in your brain. You're just like, what?
Oh, man, I think another game I played that was really good.
There's not a lot where like the story is so important like that.
It depends. It all depends on your involvement letter. So like, there'll be times where you play a game that's received differently to me personally than it was to you, and you're like, "Well, that wasn't a big deal." But
right
in the context, if you're really into it, you're like, "Man, that was huge."
Right. Like me with Firewatch. Firewatch hit me really hard from like the first moment. And a lot of people are playing that game and they're like, that was okay. The story was fine, I guess. And I'm over there like, you know, like it when you have those games click with you, then it's really, the NYC Badger is a perfect example, Asura's Wrath. I haven't played that game. I've played enough to know that I'm interested in the story, but I wouldn't want someone to be like, oh yeah, at the end X, Y, and Z happens, because I'm be like, oh well, that's a bummer.
No, have I spoiled that for you yet?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
Don't start now.
No, I'm not. Okay. But it's,
I thought you were gonna be like, oh well, in that case.
No, but and like that's another case in point. Like the journey on that just grabbed me right from the word go.
Yeah.
And I think paid off in every level.
And then I think if you look at one of our other favorite hidden gem games, flawed gem games, you can't really spoil the ending of Alpha Protocol.
Nope.
Because that's yours. Like
dude, like I still to this day I cannot believe that 4 of us played that game at the same time and we all had a different ending.
Like,
and it was my third
different.
time playing through that game. Yeah. And I had a different ending again.
That's one of my favorite moments of this show, I think, was us doing, I don't even think we did a spoiler cast. I think we did like a TVGP plays maybe of it. All 4 of our endings were so radically different. And that's
Who sailed off alone? Was that Brad?
I think it was Brad. Yeah, where he's like, "Oh wait, people can come with you." It's like, "You finished alone?" He's like, "Yeah."
I think I got the Russian chick that playthrough.
Oh yeah, man.
No, that was the one where I got what was his name? That was the fun character, the craziest character they've ever come across in games. Oh, the one that the Tide bottle. I can't remember his name.
Michael.
Michael something.
Yeah,
Love with Love, Michael Hart or something. Like
yeah.
whatever his name was. I went off with him. I was like, how did this even happen?
Oh god, that game is so good. All right, next email coming in from Dominic C. Hello, Boston and Knobs. I wanted to take a minute to say thanks for the recommendation of Infected Mushroom last week. You are very welcome.
Yes.
Everyone should check them out.
I don't think they have a bad album in their catalog.
No, I don't think so.
It's all good.
I wanted to return the favor with picks myself. Here's the links to a couple of tracks I really enjoy. He recommended Mord Fustang, which is something that I've been meaning to check out lately, and Adhesive Wombat, which he says did much of the music for Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball, which is this crazy robot dodgeball game that came out on PC that everybody seems to love, and I haven't played yet. So I'll send that over to Knobs here. But yeah, thank you for the recommendation. Everybody should go listen to Infected Mushroom if you're interested in good and non-stereotypical electronic music.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
Should go listen to them.
The thing with them that I still to this day find amazing is their sound is so clean.
Yeah,
Like it just everything lands on beat and where it lands when it's supposed to.
it's
Like
well produced.
have you seen their studio?
No, I don't think
They've
so.
got two giant screens in front of them, like literally like sitting like as close as we are to the desktop monitor.
Yeah.
But there's just giant screens and they got like the analyzers and stuff going up.
Oh man.
Like just massively huge.
Let me
It's like
live
no
there.
wonder they're so accurate.
Yeah, no kidding. Next email is from Daniel C. Titled "Rant Against Bombcast: Praise for TVGP." Hello, first time writing. Big fan of the show. Thank you very
Thanks.
much for listening. Please write in more. At work, I have lots of time to listen to podcasts, and I often listen to the Bombcast and then TVGP or vice versa. I recently listened to you first, and you guys had a little tiny blurb about Street Fighter V where you basically said, "Meh, who cares about Street Fighter?" That's in a nutshell, yeah. I then listened to the Bombcast right after that, and they commenced to spend 45 minutes talking about Street Fighter. That was all in caps. The subtle nuances, the problems with the launch, and blah, blah, blah. Thank you for never dwelling on games I hate, i.e. sports, Call of Duty, and big-time fighting games. Man, if you don't like any of those three types, we're the home for you. I can't think of anything more boring than talking at length of the reduced range of Dulcium's hitbox.
What?
I haven't listened to
I haven't listened to
Bombcast
Bobcat in
lately.
years.
So, anymore, I consider people who can't wait to waste their money on the next rehash of Madden or spend thousands of hours shooting the same guns or figuring out a 40-move combo with Ryu are not even real gamers in my eyes, ... Anyhow, thanks again. You guys do a great job, and you make my 12-hour night shifts a bit more enjoyable. I feel like that's always been the strength and the weakness.
I'm happy you like Borderlands.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure somebody has stopped listening because they're like, oh
yeah.
my god, a pre-sequel again? What the hell?
Well, yeah, it was like the rock band funk you and Brad were in.
Yeah, where it's like rock.
It's like where someone sent an email.
Rock Band.
You like rock band. We get it.
Yeah. And I think that's the real strength and the real weakness of Bombcast. And I'm sure people say that's the real weakness and real strength of this show is I feel like the Bombcast will take time to maybe fully explore a topic. And I feel like with us, I really want to resist us beating something to the ground. Like if I played, I'm sure I could talk for 3 more hours of Tales of Zestiria. You guys don't care. I'll talk about the cool stuff. And I'll talk about how dumb and weird it is. But I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they made this big change in the art system, and now you can do this. Way too deep. Like, way, way too deep. We might talk about that on Pup, because that's RPG focused. But for this show, you know,
Well, I'd fall asleep.
you'd just be over there like, oh my god, is literally killing me on the inside. And I think that's the thing, that you have to know your audience. And I think for the Bombcast, NYC Badger in chat says GB is the podcast for people with like 3 to 4 hours to kill. Yeah. So if you don't listen for half an hour because they're talking about something, they're talking about wrestling again, and you, like me, don't care, that's okay. You can just tune out. You can just let it play in the background for half an hour.
Well, and we get the joke too. Like, especially like when we had a meme that went around for a long time. Anyways, Borderlands,
Right.
because we were all playing Borderlands like nonstop
Like
when
too
Borderlands
much.
1 came on,
Yeah.
and then it just turns like, oh, anyways, Borderlands.
Yeah.
I think it was a hashtag for a while.
Probably. But I think for this show, and something that I think we've always have always tried to do, is to maybe give you, if something like the Giant Bombcast is more ground level, we're maybe a mile high. We're not going to be talking about every minutia in game. We might if both of us are playing the same game at the same time, but we're not going to beat anything to death.
Well, then again, we don't do this for a living, so we don't know the minutia,
Right.
per se. We can only express our opinions of what we've experienced.
And I don't get paid to do this. I don't have 3 hours to do this show. Contrary to popular belief.
Yeah.
Like we have to run errands after, we're done recording this show.
Yeah, I gotta eat. Boomer, go away.
So, like, I think I'm glad that both of our shows exist, because I do like the content that Giant Bomb puts out. And that's the great thing about there being so many video game podcasts, is you have found a show that meets your needs. Thankfully, it's ours. Thank you for listening. And unfortunately, it's not Giant Bomb the majority of the time, but it makes sense. And that's okay. You don't have to... A lot of people don't like this show. And that's fine.
Really? Because we've been doing it longer than Giant Bomb anyway.
That's true. I mean, not as long as they were doing it at GameSpot, but... Because I know someone will be writing in and be like, well, actually...
Yeah.
I know. We have been doing it for almost 8 years. We've never missed a week. Ungrateful jerks. No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the great thing, is even if this show doesn't meet your needs, there's something else out there, and I think that's awesome. Thank you for
Along
listening.
with 1,000 other ones.
Yeah, exactly. So if you really love League of Legends, there's probably a podcast just for one specific character. That's so cool. I couldn't think we wouldn't have a channel on TV about one League of Legends character. So, nevertheless, a channel about League of Legends. So, I just think about that all the time, where it's like, man, that is cool. Not only that people listen to this show, but that there is a show for you. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for writing in. Write in more often.
Yes, sir.
And last email here from somebody that just says their name is J, like just the letter J, entitled, "Hey guys. To start off, I know you guys aren't Halo fans, but the people over at 343 Studios did something pretty cool and showed how close developers and the fan community can be in a small but touching story. Tragedy struck a community member and longtime Halo fan, a man by the name of Adam, had an electrical fire break out in his home, killing his 2 daughters.
Oh,
That's horrible. 343 heard the news, and to be brief, this was the outcome. An update came out last week with a new map, an emblem you can equip that represents the 2 girls that perished in the fire. Also on the new map, if you look up in just the right spot, you can see the daughters' names, Trinity and Lena, written in the stars.
oh,
That's pretty cool. Which he
That's
also writes.
great.
That's pretty cool. Guys, what's your favorite hidden messages or Easter eggs in games? We were just talking about Wolfenstein 3D. There was that one where you could push all those walls, and if you got into the right spot, it would have like their phone number
yeah.
that you could call in and get something. Did you get in the Hall of Fame or something like that?
I think it was something dumb like that.
Or like get a free T-shirt or something.
But yeah, like most of the Easter eggs that I enjoy are ones that are right in your face that you missed way until the end. Like looking at the chapter list for Dead Space, I like to go back to that. You know,
Right.
saying she's dead,
Right.
like right in the titles.
Right. I think for me, I so often miss a lot of Easter eggs. I like the hi. I like the callbacks more. Like, if you playing Final Fantasy and you see these summons show up again, or you're playing one of the DOA fighting games, and Zack is running around in the background with
Yeah,
his hair on fire or something. Like I like those little things more than I like. I'm playing that Wolverine Origins game on 360, and you can find the Lost Hatch.
yeah,
That
like
doesn't
that's
do as much for me as something else. It doesn't
well,
do as much for me as wearing like Wolverine's yellow and blue outfit means. That to me is a better.
yeah. To me, like the one in that game, the one costume that was like they care about that character is when they put the black and white X-Force costume on him. I'm like, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you guys dug deep enough. You liked this enough that.
Well, same thing with Marvel Ultimate Alliance did a great job with all those alternate costumes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
Like,
remember when this guy was one of the Four Horsemen? It's like, no,
yeah,
but that's
no,
awesome. I do remember
yeah,
now.
like Stephen Strange or like, Doctor Strange had some of the craziest outfits.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just like the different iterations of them. Like same thing with Spider-Man and Edge of Time. Like the
Oh,
amount of
right.
costumes that are in that game,
Yeah.
or the Spider-Man that came out for the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 area. It was the first time you ever got to see the 2099 suit in action.
That's true.
Was that game. And they even went even a step deeper, having the Cosmic Spider-Man suit, which was in Tony Hawk too. Like, what is that
Forgot
doing
about
there?
that. So I think the takeaway from this one is comic book games have surprisingly done it pretty well.
Yes.
All right, well, we're out of time. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us, tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. Don't forget to join us and chat on the Discord channel, and everything else is on the right-hand side of the page.
And don't forget to join the forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. Join us for our game nights, Monday night, 10 p.m. EST. We're still playing Battlefield 4 because you know what? It's fun.
You can't,
Uh,
don't let a classic down.
no, can't. And who would have thought that that game would have won my heart?
That's true. Of all of them.
Of all of them, Battlefield 4. Um, Tuesdays, Destiny night. Wednesdays, Rocket League on a PlayStation 4. Thursday is Steam game night. I wouldn't mind getting that thing up and rolling again. It's still available
Yep.
to do something on that night.
Join the
I
TVGP
throw my
community.
hat in the ring of Unreal Tournament.
There you go.
2K4 because it is perfect.
An old classic.
And can I get an amen?
Yeah.
And Friday through Sunday, just come find us. I'm sure I'm playing Borderlands.
And don't forget the TVGP game club for the month is Max Payne 3. You can probably pick that up for almost no money on just about everything at this point. And you can watch us live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network every Sunday. And you can watch the archive videos, youtube.com/thatvideogamepodcast. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Laters.
Okay, I have 5 titles.
Yeah, I didn't really write anything down. I still like Assassin.
So it shall be done. Just okay. Gaming the game. Still giggling. Plug Monkey Baby, and probably the one I like the most, 10 Large.
10 large. Pug Monkey Baby.
I'm gonna circle 10 Large. I just something about it. I like it. Like, pardon me, 10 Large.
10 large.
I didn't mean to speak out of turn.
Yes.
10 Large.
Oh.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 436 for February 29th, 2016. 10 Large.
Because that's the way you say it, Mortal Kombat.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Appreciate you watching and listening each and every week. And we'll see you all next time.
See you.
Peace.